I'm creating these documents. It takes some effort to go get the police certificates, birth certificates, apostille, and all that kind of stuff. So can I actually do both Paraguay and Uruguay in the same time frame? Maybe it's a couple of trips. Obviously, once you're going to Paraguay, then you're traveling to Uruguay. Is it possible to combine the two options using the same set of documents?
So a lot of you
Yes.
have asked me which residency to go for. Should I go for the Paraguay residency or the Uruguay residency? I'm going to compare and narrow it down because some people would go for both because we do this process back to back. So first you start off with Uruguay. They do not collect your documents, but Paraguay does. So we sequence this correctly. Our teams are highly trained and specialized to sequence this correctly.
99.9% of the time, 100% of the time, it works.
So the first thing you do is get the Uruguay using the same set of documents. Then you move to Paraguay, and Paraguay would collect some of your documents. So that's where your documents are gone. That set that you have created, the fresh set, is then utilized in Paraguay. So you're doing Uruguay first and doing Paraguay second. Some people want to focus on one residency at a time. They want to just get the best one. My favorite option out of the two, which one is it? How much time does it take for each? I'm going to do that comparison. But before we move forward and deep dive, I would like to ask you for a quick favor. If you think that this channel adds any value to your decision making, then please turn on that subscription. It helps me get you valuable content and on time. And at any point in time, right, you want to strike Uruguay, Paraguay, both, or one of the two, you can always click the link, book a call. We can have a quick chat and get you started with the option of your choice. Now, the clear winner, hands down, any day, is Uruguay, because Uruguay is a direct permanent residency, unlike Paraguay. Paraguay would be a temporary, and then after 2 you would get permanent. Why would you do that when in a country like Uruguay, which is more premium, which has less, I would say it's equally populated, but the quality of people in Uruguay is a lot different, right? It's very different. I would call it the Switzerland of Latin America. They usually use that word for Argentina, but Uruguay is really the Switzerland of Latin America. So when you compare that with Paraguay, Uruguay any day is more premium. The banking is far better, far developed. It's a more developed nation as compared to Paraguay. The second major thing, the deal breaker for me, is that Paraguay is a very hot country. The temperatures are hot. I don't like hot places at all. I like the variation. I do like cooler times in the year, and Uruguay is much cooler. It has the beach access, so you're going to have a beautiful country to spend any time. When you're getting a residency, even if it is 1 day of entry into the country, you want to have a good time in the country. So for that, or if you're living there, you want to have a good life in the country. And this channel is all about finding good places and having a good life and a good time. So I would say Uruguay definitely wins in that regard. Uruguay, you can include your family. Now, in terms of naturalization, in Paraguay, it'll take more time because you're transitioning from temporary to permanent after 2. And then once you're on permanent, you're going to do the 3, and then you are going to apply for nationality. In Paraguay, it's a slightly weaker passport as compared to Uruguay. Uruguay is a more premium option, even in terms of the access. Now, in Uruguay, is looking at spending 3 years, and you and your spouse can both naturalize after 3 years. The physical presence is going to be 6 months in each year, and then you can apply for citizenship. So in that regard, so in every dimension, I think Uruguay wins. Now, when it comes to taxation, Paraguay has a slight edge because it's a territorial system, but Uruguay also has a good edge because it has a tax holiday. So you can utilize or structure the tax holiday. Again, as I said, it's a premium country. So it's for premium people who are willing to pay a premium to live in a decent, good country. They want to spend some time, genuinely spend some time because they're working on their citizenship. Then as far as I'm concerned, Paraguay is a non-option. No one really is going to live in Paraguay for 3 years or 6 months each year for 3 years. But people are definitely going to be excited to live in Uruguay for that equal amount of time and actually naturalize in that country. So on every dimension, I think Uruguay has an edge over Paraguay. And as I said, it definitely does not hurt to do both, sequence them both on the same trip. How much time does it take to get residency in Uruguay versus Paraguay? This is an important one. I get this asked all the time.
Yes, it's possible. Actually, we suggest to start always with Uruguay because in Uruguay they don't keep the documents, but in Paraguay, yes, they do. So you come to Uruguay, we start the process in Uruguay, and then you can jump into Paraguay. And in Paraguay, yes, your documents will remain there.
When you are entering Paraguay, you're obviously entering Asunción, the capital city of Paraguay, and you're spending 2 days of your physical time going to the immigration. You want to get the cedula, you want to do the tax ID, you want to get the residency card. So you are spending a couple of days getting done with the process, then you can leave. In 45 days. You will be issued the final temporary residency documentation, which can be mailed to you by our team. That is the process in Paraguay. When you compare this with Uruguay, in Uruguay, it's more structured. You're getting an appointment with immigration ahead of time, and obviously our team schedules that for you in Uruguay. And then once you enter Uruguay, you're going to spend 3 days of your time in Montevideo, the capital city of Uruguay. And then in those 3 days, we complete the same type of process that we complete in Paraguay. So it takes 1 day more than Paraguay. That's hardly anything. So of course, then that gets you your permanent residency. The biggest thing is a temporary versus permanent. Permanent any day is far better. It's more secure, more more solid, more strong. Pretty much do a lot of things more in the country as compared to that temporary. And then for physical presence and entry, here's where Uruguay again wins. Because in Uruguay, once you get the permanent residence, you're entering in the country once in every 3 years to maintain your residency. In Paraguay, you're initially entering every year for the first 2 years. And once you get permanent, then again, you don't need to enter every year. You can enter once every 2 years and still maintain that. But Uruguay, you're entering once every 3 years to maintain your permanent residency. Now, in terms of documentation, I think it's similar. You're getting the similar set of documentation, almost the same. Except in Uruguay, there's going to be one additional documentation, which is a couple of additional documentation. One is your employee letter, which shows your qualifying criteria of $1,200 of active or passive income per month. So that letter is an additional document that you need to prepare for Uruguay. Not an issue for most people. Most people watching this channel earn the $1,200 a month, so it's going to be super easy. The other documentation is vaccination proof, and if you want to know what exactly it is or what are the requirements, my head of legal had a separate detailed discussion with me on this channel. You can always return and take a look at this video. We've covered this topic in extensive detail. So those are the two additional documents that you would carry for Uruguay as compared to Paraguay. Not a big deal. I think Uruguay wins over here because Uruguay does not collect your documentation. Paraguay is going to collect your documentation. In terms of the qualifying criteria, what is the difference? Paraguay does not really require a qualifying income, right? Any income you qualify as long as you have a visa-free entry to Paraguay, you can enter. So let's say you're an American, Canadian, Brit, Australian, New Zealand citizen, or any other country which has a powerful passport. Let's say you're from the EU, maybe you're a German, you're a French citizen. You can easily step either into Uruguay or Paraguay visa-free and then get your residency from inside. Now, let's say you come from a weaker country passport. How do you then get it? Is there a possibility? Yes, you can get this. And the easiest way to get this would be obviously to get a CBI that has access to both the countries. The best CBI in 2026, in my opinion, is the Turkey CBI. And I have some specific reasons and breaking news regarding this program, why now this is the best CBI to consider in 2026. If you have missed that, you can always return and take a look at this video. I've covered this in extensive detail. Once you get the Turkey passport, you can enter both countries and strike this residency just like any other first world country passport holder, because the Turkey is now going to have both those countries access, and you can strike the residency. And as I said, at any point in time you want to get started, you can click the link, we can have a quick chat and get you started with 1, 2, or all 3 options. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.